arrived. So you can start the program. Good.
Okay. So let's get started. As said by Ratan Tata, if you want to work fast, work alone. But if you want to work far, work together. Esteemed President of ASBM University and Chair of the Symposium, Co-Chair, Honorable Guest, Delegates, members from the print and electronic media, invited guests, members of the faculty, staff, coordinators of the convention, and all my dear student colleagues. A very warm and cheerful good morning to one and all present out here. This is Vishakha Panda, a student of BBA first year at ASBM University. Welcomes you all to the inaugural ceremony of the 11th National Logistics and Supply Chain Management Symposium of Mark Logistics 2021 with the theme The Future of Marketing, Digital Logistics. I now request Dr. M.N. Samantrai, Dean School of Business, ASBM University, to introduce the eminent guest and theme of the symposium. Please, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Vishakha. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Founder, President, ASBM University, Professor Dr. Bishop Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Professor Kalyan Shankar Ray, Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Falgu Niranjana, eminent guests of the inaugural session, my co-convener and co-convener, Dr. Sunil Kumar Pati, Professor Pratap Kumar Pati, my dear faculty colleague and students. ASBM University has been shaped out of the vision of Professor Bishwajit Patnaik, a distinguished academician and a well-known management guru. Established in 2006 as Asian School of Business in higher education, with introduction of innovative and industry-focused curriculum, establishment of in-house finishing school, and adoption of global higher education practices. Considering this excellence, what ASBM achieved, university started having conferred on it by the government of Odisha, with the establishment of ASBM University as a private unitary university by enactment of the ASBM University Odisha Act 2019, Odisha Act 4 of 2019. ASBM University focuses on quality education and research and offers bachelor's to doctoral programs. It is a great honor and privilege for me to be called upon to introduce our eminent guest on the occasion of inauguration of 11th National Logistics and Supply Chain Management Symposium. Our esteemed chief guest, Sri V.S. Manimaran, the chairman and managing director of Aviation. Was established a strong reputation for integrity and reliability. He initially established Viscan Associates to provide outsourced services to large public sector undertakings. The company entered the aviation industry following the opening of this sector to private airlines, with first client. He was the former president of Karnataka Service Providers Association. We are fortunate to have you here today, sir, and thank you for your presence. Sri Anshuman Kumar Bhanja, former Director Operations, Ispat Alay Limited. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest of eminence, Sri Anshuman Kumar Bhanja, who is the former Director of operations at Baleswar Alloys, formerly Ispat Alloys Limited, the part of the renowned Ispat group of companies, a major business house in the country, from in medicine. He has a wide experience in industry and wisdom in the field of operations and logistics. He worked as general manager TS Alloys Limited, which is a subsidiary of Tata Steel. He also worked as associate vice president at Hotel Communication Limited and the former DGM at Indian Metal and Ferro Alloys Limited, Odisha. We happily welcome you to our meets today. Our next guest of eminence is Sri Nilab Jade. I have the opportunity to introduce our guest of eminence, Sri Nilab Jade, Head IT Enterprise and Digital Transformation at Mahindra Logistics. Mr. De has more than 20 years of experience in CXO advisory focusing on design, emerging technology innovations related to IoT, RPA, analytics, platform solutions. He has experience in consulting, technology, enabled business transformation, IT strategy, and execution, ERP service line building from scratch, large program delivery, product platform in instrumentation branch. We are fortunate to have you here, sir. Thank you very much for your presence.
Thank you.
Sri M. Nageshwar Rao, Head of Logistics. Let me now take the opportunity to introduce our guest of eminence, Sri M. Nageshwar Rao, Head of Logistics at Lakshmi Cargo Company, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Sri Rao was graduated in electronics specialization from Sri Krishna Devaraya University, Anantapur, Andhra Pradesh. Sri Rao has over 20 years of experience in logistics sector. He was former corporate general manager at Agrawal Packers and Movers in Hyderabad and also worked as Chief Operations Manager, TCI, Transportation Company at Nigeria. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Kalyan Shankar Rai. He is the Vice Chancellor of SBM University, Bhubaneswar. Dr. Rai has been awarded a doctorate in Business Administration and Masters in Economics by Utkal University and Bank Management, Pune. He has 31 years of rich experience in bank operations and management. He also served as director on the boards of 2 regional rural banks in Odisha and Madhya Pradesh. His last industry assignment was as the zonal head of Bank of India in Madhya Pradesh. He has been associated with NIBM in preparing the guidelines for service area approach of Reserve Bank of India. He has several papers to his credit along with several books. Thank you, sir. Today's theme, the future of marketing, digital logistics. This topic or this theme may not be new, but we have seen there is a huge change in logistics sector nowadays. We are in a period of dynamic and fundamental change to logistic operations and strategy. The 1990s, we saw rapid advances in the competence of a number of forces, especially the communication and collaboration potential of the internet, are changing the logistic strategies, processes, and systems. The advancement of information communication technology has driven the need for greater speed and agility within the supply chain. Organizations also need to look for ways to cut costs and communications more effectively between service providers and partners. As a result, what we have seen, the supply chain management is making a distinct shift from traditional logistics to digital logistics. Digital logistics, as we are aware, it relates to the supply chain. Takes traditional data collection, usually, and it was often manual and prone to human error to improve and expedite logistics processes, strategies, and systems. It atomizes routine-like parts of the logistics chain that are practical to be atomized. Not only does the digital approach create opportunity for the organizations to save money on operating expenses, lost productivity, and, accurate order fulfillment, but it also increases data transparency for all the vendors and partners involved in each step of supply chain management and operations. By employing thoughtfully integrated enterprise logistics applications, which can collaborate and communicate through a centralized information system, all stakeholders, starting from suppliers to the customers, they have access to the information which it needs to make agile, informed decisions, even in the midst of the unexpected. Modern supply chain companies are adopting digital logistics to improve distribution methods, including warehouse management technology and fulfillment of data. The companies are also recognizing the opportunity to automate transportation processes and carrier operations, as well as labor management and employee engagement strategies. Many digital logistics platforms incorporate an element of machine learning to help make critical data-informed decisions and manually driven improvement to the supply chain processes. With transparency, real-time visibility of order fulfillment, inventory status, and shipment updates, digital logistics is the fastest way for the organizations and its partners to provide a better customer experience. We have seen logistics is the new brand differentiator. Companies are operating in fierce competitive environment, no matter the product or the industry. When all other things are considered equal, logistics can often make the difference between repeat customers. At this backdrop, we will learn from today's delivery session, as well as we have plenary session from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. where Sri Saurabh Majumdar, founder and director Apollonius, Sri Akash Jaiswal, managing director Team High Tech Private Limited, Sri Padma Lochan Sahu, manager supply chain operations Flipkart, will present and deliberate whether the digital logistics will change the way the leading companies pursue supply chain management and how it can strategically deployed to unlock significant value and create customer-focused logistics system, building long-term competitive advantage. Thank you. Over to Vishaka.
Thank you, sir. I now request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kalyan Shankar Ray, to deliver the inaugural address. Please, sir, over to you.
Thank you, Vishaka. Esteemed Chief Guest, Sri V.S. Manimaran, our esteemed guests of honor, Sri Anshuman Kumar Bhanjal, Sri Nilabja De, Sri M. Nageshwar Rao, Dean School of Business, Dr. M.N. Samantarai, our coordinators, Dr. Sunil Kumar Das Bedi and Professor Pratap Kumar Pati, delegates, faculty members, and students. I welcome you all to this symposium, our Mart Logistics Symposium. Unfortunately, our founder and president, Professor Biswajit Patnaik, is unable to attend this symposium in view of some pressing and sudden engagement. He has conveyed his best wishes to all of us, and also he has conveyed his gratitude to our chief guest and the guests of honor. Let me now take you back almost 200 years. The year was 1830, 1830. There was a French army officer and writer, Antoine Henri Jomini. He published a book in the year 1830. It was in French. The name of the book was Tableau Analytique, analytic table. And he used the word logistic in that book to mean those in charge of the functioning of an army. He was severely criticized for coining a new word, but the word stuck. And in fact, when this book went for English edition in 1846, the name of the book was Summary of the Art of War. The word used was logistics. And this word, as we have seen, has been coined from war. Logistics and war are really related. And in fact, the term logistics, not only the word, the concept logistics are developed from war. All of us, we have seen on TV, this Ramayana and Mahabharata battles. Remember the Kurukshetra battle? This eternally preferred TV series in the Kurukshetra battle. And you find Arjuna with his Gandiva Dhanu, bow, he is destroying his enemies. Now just imagine, from where did he get the arrows? Or for that matter, Bhima and Duryodhan fighting with Gada, mace, from where did they get those? There was no Amazon or Flipkart those days. Interestingly, today morning I tried to search for bows and arrows on Amazon, and yes, they are delivering it. And I found that the price is 249 for the top toy version and anything between 5,000 and 1,50,000 for the real versions. Anyway, so from where did they get those things? The arrows had to be made different types for different types of dhanus or bows, and they had to be supplied in time to the battlefield. Now, not only weapons, food. A hungry soldier cannot fight. And there is a scene in Mahabharata that while Yudhishthira, Sri Krishna, Arjuna, Bhima, they were discussing about the war strategy. Suddenly, Nakula and Sahadev, they came with a list of things that they would like to procure. They wanted permission from Yudhishthira. And in fact, they were the logistics manager so far as that Kurukshetra battle was concerned. And their list included Godhuma Churna, Godhuma is wheat, Yabba, Yabba is barley, Chipitaka, puffed rice, Brihi, and those things. Subsequently, the two world wars that we have seen developed the concept of logistics, and logistics came to occupy a very, very important position in the real world. And from wars, it came to business. Incidentally, when I did my management from NIBM Pune in 1987, we did the logistics as a subject, not marketing also. Subsequently, after maybe almost a decade and a half, I did an MDP in XLRI Jamshedpur in 2003. Again, there was no logistics. But ASBM, after we were established in 2006, in 2007, we introduced a full-fledged master's program in LSCM, Logistics and Supply Chain Management, in collaboration with Gati. In fact, we can take pride being the pioneers in our country in introducing this particular subject, Logistics and Supply Chain Management, as an independent subject. The Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals defines logistics management as the activity that plans, implements, and controls the efficient and effective flow and storage of goods, services, and related information between the point of origin and the point of consumption to meet customers' requirements. So it shows the relationship between logistics and marketing. For, after all, meeting customer requirements is the domain of marketing. Marketing helps fulfill our needs and logistics delivers those. They are complementary, yet in a way they are opposites. How opposites? Marketing is very much visible, while logistics works unseen, behind the scene. Marketing is high decibel, logistics is silent. But just as opposite poles attract, both these subjects are very much intertwined. There appears to be a symbiotic relationship between the two. What happens in one directly affects the other in the organization. In fact, Effective marketing cannot be there without effective logistics and supply chain. That is why here in ASBM, we have combined the two subjects and coined a new term, Mart Logistics. Over the years, our Mart Logistics Symposium has become popular, having created a niche for itself. Logistics, as we have seen, was a differentiator at one point of time. But now, logistics has become an integral part of any business. Be it goods or services, be it manufacturing or information, no organization, no company can run without proper, effective logistics. So what's the new differentiator? The new differentiator on the field is digital logistics. That is why this symposium is devoted to the future of marketing, digital logistics. The Dean School of Business has already introduced the theme of the symposium. We now have a galaxy of speakers. They're all eminent practitioners who will explain to us how the business is changing its strategy to win the market. We have with us our chief guest, Sri V.S. Manimaran, Chairman and Managing Director of Viscan Aviation. The group also has a logistics company, full-fledged logistics company, Viscan Logistics. They have a training institute, Viscan Institute of Aviation Management. And Mr. Manimaran is not new to us. He has been a well-wisher. He has visited us several times. In fact, the Logistics Symposium in 2019, he was one of the guests here physically at Bhubaneswar. We have Sri Anshuman Kumar Bhanja, Director Operations of Balasore Alloys Limited. We have Sri Nilab Jate, Head IT Enterprise and Digital Transformation of Mahindra Logistics. We have Mr. Nageshwar Rao, Head of Logistics, Lakshmi Cargo Company. Thus, it's a very perfect combination. We have a Managing Director, Chairman and Managing Director who handles logistics day in and day out. We have Balasore Alloys Manufacturing Company. We have Mahindra Logistics. We have also a cargo company, Lakshmi Cargo Company. I'm sure this symposium will be very, very interesting and will throw new lights. I welcome all our guests again. I convey my sincere thanks to them, and I welcome you all to this symposium. Thank you. Over to you, Visakha.
Thank you, sir. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for such an amazing words. I would now like to request our guest of honor, Sri Anshuman Kumar Bhanja, former Director Operations of Balasore Alloys Limited, to address the gathering. Please, sir, over to you.
Good morning to everybody. Founder of ASBM, Mr. Biswajit Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, and the faculty member of ASBM, and all other the eminent speaker for the today's session. This is a very good initiative which has been taken by the ASBM to bring in the latest trend in the logistic approach and combining with the marketing, so that the business houses, they can reap the maximum benefit and they can become the success. India being a big hub for the market because of its vast population, it is both the volume, the time, and the cost which is important for all the industrial houses and the company who are situated in India and are going to be available in India, have to practice this approach so that they can become very successful. Now, I being the first speaker of the session, I will start with the very nascent idea of this digital transformation in the marketing on the supply chain management, and then how it has become way forward in today's context. Now, I'll give a very, very old example, which is almost 40, 50 years old. You all must be aware of. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll just start with a very nascent idea of this digital transformation, though it was not in the form of digital transformation, but it was in existence. It was in existence. Please imagine the cases of the Dabbawalas of Bombay 50, 60 years back. they had such an efficient way of delivering the home hot food to their customer within 2 hours. And you know what was the performance level? The performance level was almost in the Six Sigma level. And interestingly, just to understand how it is being performed, that time the world logistic big companies, Blue Dart, their CEO, he came to Bombay and spent 3 days time with them to understand how they deliver it and how precisely, so that their operation is almost in the Six Sigma level. You know, they told them the total things. And you know what was that? That was nothing but what we call today is coding. Because their coding was such excellent that there was no chances of a failure. Now I'll give you another example. We have known about the Indian Post. The earlier days, the delivery of the letter was mostly on the analog basis. We had the addresses written in the postcard or the envelope or anywhere. It used to take even sometimes month, and maybe sometimes it used to get misplaced. The first digitalization it was brought by bringing in the PIN code number. And today you have hardly any possibility of losing a letter through the Indian Post, and it is so fast. Now, I just recall, because in the month of September I had been to Germany, and I was taking my flight from Frankfurt to Mumbai, and I saw two big, huge cargo planes. One was of Amazon and another was of Blue Dart Courier. Then I was wondering, it is in Frankfurt. Then immediately it struck to my mind, because this is the hub in Europe which is well connected to almost every country in the Europe, including the nearby destination. So you see, the logistic, it has come in such a form, the company who are in bulk volume or in businesses, they have their own logistic system, and they try to augment their services in such a way that it is not only the fast, also it is very cost effective. Now I give you another example. You must be very much aware about Mr. Amit Kumar Vyas, and who started his career with Kheda Milk Cooperative Society, is a part of Amul Dairy and Amul India. And you know, in 2012, he started an initiative where they had digitized the information of almost 1,20,000 cows. And what informations they were gathering? The information they were gathering about all the physiological condition of the cows which were associated in delivering the milk for the processing in the Amul Dairy farm. And it includes to the extent of bringing in the ovulation period of the cow, so that the cow can be pregnated and it can deliver the baby and it can also give the milk. And he was one of the person who was pioneer in bringing in such sort of automation. Now you see, this information, it was not available for the company, it was available to all the farmers who were having the cows. And that means, see the supply chain management, how it has worked to that extent that bringing in large folk of cultivators to a forum where the company is associated, and being it is a cooperative society, and they get the benefit, and the processing of the milk is not hampered. This is what exactly is the today's requirement of all the big industrial houses. Now see the present situation. You know, almost 3 lakhs car, they have a waiting period of 12 months because of the non-availability of the semiconductors. The semiconductors and the chips availability, it has really affected to a large extent to the automobile industries and the healthcare instruments maker. Those are the companies who are mostly affected is Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mandar. Mostly the EV vehicles manufacturers are mostly affected because they have a large application of the chips or in the semiconductor in their product. Now, why all these things started? See, exactly this digitization of these businesses, it actually started with this starting of the e-commerce platform, business to customer, business to business, and customer to customer. But actually, it didn't actually take that pace during which it was really initiated. But it is taking a pace very fast. You can see the bright example of how the businesses are being done by the Amazon, how the business are done by all other e-platform. Imagine a case, the highest order of digitization in the Amazon case. You have ordered an item and in no time you get the confirmation and you have the link to see where is my order. The order is placed. It is already been dispatched from the place. It has already reached Amazon warehouse and when it is going to be available to you. So that means you have all the information. And why this marketing through this digital platform? Because marketing isn't such a thing that if you don't take decision now, tomorrow you tend to change your mind. So it is how quickly to grab you into their business so that you take a decision, and it is a matter of only few hundred rupees, maybe 500, 200, 300, but see the chunk of volume. So that is why the digitization has really helped them to boost their businesses. And interestingly, maybe that you would like to have a selection on the product. Now, the entire product portfolio, starting with the price range, even the digitization starting with the highest to lowest or lowest to highest, or even the price tag range, it is available so that it makes you very, very easy to really focus and bring in the inherent interest within yourself to purchase the product. And you take no time to decide and buy it. And at the click of the thing, you don't have money, you pay through the credit card, you pay through the EMI. Now all these things are available. Interestingly also, another service they have provided, you don't like the product, you don't like the service, you are not very happy with the display they have shown in the Amazon platform, you can return it. And very interestingly, you have always a doubt whether it can be returned or whether the money can be returned back or not. See the platform. Again, you want to return because of some technical problem, the replace item can be available. You want to return and get the money, it is also available. And very interestingly, the moment you want to return the things and you have accepted it, the next day the person is available to take the material from you. Now imagine, had it been delayed by another 2-3 days, what is the idea it would have come to you? You might have brought in a suspicion in your mind. Yes, whether the item is good, maybe I have been cheated. So this is the thing. And see the next order of digitization, still higher order of digitization in Amazon. They have gone to Alexa. You don't have to search on the app. Maybe you can ask the Alexa, where is my order? So anyway, these are the very higher order of digitization, because I know that after me, all the people who are into this core area, from the Mahindra and Mahindra IT person and logistic person, they will be able to guide you exactly what is the real thing actually required to be done in the digitization. Now, I remember an incident in 2006, because of the skyrocketing price hike in the steel sector, because China was about to conduct an Olympic in 2008. So the steel prices was going up very much, and particularly India, it is the second largest producer of the steel in the world, China being the first. The steel price also in India was going up very up. Most of the automobile manufacturer, to that extent of almost 1 ton to around 1.5 ton steel, they use it. So all the companies in India, because the steel price was going up, so their manufacturing cost was also going up. They decided to increase their prices by almost 4 to 5% of their basic price. So that means it was in the order of 10,000 to maybe as high as 30,000-40,000 rupees for the higher end vehicle. It was only one company. It was the Honda Motors in India. They didn't increase the price. They rather decreased the price by 43,000 rupees for the car which was launched, the Honda City, during that time. And it was a turning point for the company. It was a turning point. The company market share, which was around 0.2%, it went up to 2%. And what was that? What was the magic they did? The 43,000 rupees, how they reduced it? They reduced it only because of the supply chain management activity-based costing model. What they did? At each level of activity, they tried to find out what is the cost incurred and how much is the value addition is being done. So they worked on a model that value addition divided by the cost incurred. Wherever it was highest, they didn't focus on that cost cutting. But where it was the lowest, because the denominator was the cost and value was the thing which the company looks for. So there they did the reduction. They focus very much on the cost reduction, and today, today they have a big market presence in the automobile sector. Now, why this logistic or supply chain management is important for a business houses? Any company you see, whether is a manufacturing company in the semi-finished category or in the finished category, no company in the world has 100% level of vertical integration. And when I mean vertical integration, it is not that from A to Z, whatever is required for their businesses, they make themselves. So here, whenever you don't have such things, so definitely the dependence on your supplier and the other things, it comes. Now it becomes more predominantly where you have the finished product. Semi-finished product, yes, there are a lot of players, but when it is a finished good, so finished good means you have a certain identity in the market. So that means your product is definitely has a different image compared to other competitors, and that is why you rock the market. So that is why the dependence, and no company in the world has 100%. So that means you have certain dependency on your supplier or on the service provider on which your businesses and everything is encompassed upon. So now, in such a situation, the digitization and the marketing both goes hand to hand together, because when it is a question of volume, when it is a question of cost, and when it is a question of time, until unless you act very quickly on that and you have a communication of system so transparent and available at all the root point where it is required to be available. So that is why this information system, it flows through the digitization. Today, see this necessitates that how you look into your product life cycle. See, today any company which is doing good businesses, it is because they have a very crystal clear approach on their product and their product life cycle. You have first the introduction phase, then you have the growth, then you have the saturation and the decline. Now the introduction phase is the year where you try to expand you spend the maximum money, but since you are not marketable in the product, so maybe you don't make any money, you make a loss. But suppose your introductory phase is very small and quickly goes to the growth stage, then the business becomes a very viable and very, very profitable business. So that is why it is very important to focus the innovation in the introduction phase. And what is that innovation? I'll come to that. But when you go for the growth, it is become absolutely difficult to keep pace with the supply chain management unless you have a very, very transparent approach with your supplier or with your partner with whom you are doing the business, because the growth rate, it is very difficult to understand and analyze. Now, of course, this is the area where logistics can be digitized through application of artificial intelligence. I'll give some example of some product once I complete the cycle. And when you go for the artificial intelligence, so you have certain data of a similar type of product if you had made earlier and you are going to make a replacement of that one. Those data are going to help you in what is going to be your growth rate and what is going to be your dependency in terms of quantity and time frame. Now, when you come to a saturation stage, this is the most comfortable zone for the supply chain management, most comfortable zone, because it is a flat curve. So my regular requirement is going to be like this. And so automatically you're down the line, or maybe your promoter, or maybe your partner and the supplier, they are very comfortable with this. So, but this actually doesn't really work. It doesn't work in the sense because if you are in a slow pace, somebody else is taking up your position. Then it starts declining. And very interestingly, this declining, it itself is being created by the company who himself has made the product. So that means before it declines, the company is not, the industrial house is not very interested in making a small profit, but they want to really make a very, very big profit by introducing a similar product with different features. So automatically, again, it follows a cycle. So now I'll give you an example. You just imagine the car. Take, for example, the largest car manufacturer in India, the Maruti Suzuki. You have seen that the two big model which really bring in much volume in businesses, but not in terms of the revenue. It is one is the Alto and another is the WagonR. You see the declining phase has not ever even come. It has not come yet. It is still in that same saturation point. So that means year-to-year growth, if you really see, there is really not much increase in the year-to-year growth. But whereas the other vehicles, they have declined very fast, and immediately the company didn't find it viable and they have gone for another vehicle. Now, similarly, you take, for example, the mobile phone. The mobile phone, the moment you have all these Chinese manufacturers, the moment you see it has come to a saturation that they kill their product themselves. They start introducing another one. So that immediately they start making a huge margin. And they again, because the interesting, the growth phase is most difficult, but it is the most interesting phase during which the company makes the maximum profit. So the focus on the digitalization or introducing artificial intelligence, analytics, all these things are concentrated in this zone only. But what is being done with respect to this product when you go for the introduction? You see, when you make a car, you keep certain items in the car which are very, very costly. You don't change them at all. You just change the look. You just change some other fancy features. You just make it some info entertainment system. Some maybe you make some sensors and all these things. These are the present need of the customer. You don't even change the engine. You don't change the car tire. You don't change the gearbox, because these are the highest value item in your product or services. So if you change them, your supplier or your partner who are in the business, they will find it difficult to change it. So very quickly, because of this small scale change, the product is immediately available in no time before your competitor is launching a new one. Now take example of the mobile phone. See, in mobile phone, the screen size, has it changed? For the last 3-4 years, it has not changed, because this is one of the most costly item in the mobile phone. Has there been any change in the battery capacity? Same, 5000 milliampere hour maximum. So what is that changes has happened? It is only with respect to the pixel camera and other RAM facilities, the speed and other things. So what exactly innovation has happened in the mobile sector? It is basically building in the motherboard, which can accommodate all the other semiconductors, chips and hardwares, to augment the product capacity and allure the customer to sell their product. And you know, it is basically, and change the color of the mobile, and change the even the cover also has not changed much. So you know, this innovation stage, which is important, that where to really actually concentrate upon, and how do you really look or foresee another 2 or 3 years down the line, so that the motherboard which is prepared for the mobile phone, it can accommodate, because you know, when you change the motherboard, it doesn't take it doesn't take 1 month time. It takes minimum 6 months to 1 year time to change the total integrated circuit system in the motherboard. So you know, your partner your supplier won't be able to supply that. So by the time another. So that means you try to conceive the idea that how my motherboard should look another 2-3 years down the line, and that digitization and there the artificial intelligence is required to be applied, so that in innovation stage you try to do the minimum changes which doesn't really affect your supplier, and you quickly bring in your product chain, and also side by side you don't incur much cost. This is what is precisely today is the business requirement for any company who is really going to roar in the market. Yes, and you know what has happened to the fate of the Nokia phone. They didn't do it. They do it, and they're furious. And today the world market of the mobile phone is being dominated by the China supplier. So I have clearly. So it is now question upon definitely the speakers who are after me. They will be able to guide you much, and they will be, because they are more in the particularly the person who is from the IT sector, from Mahindra and Mahindra, where exactly the application of the artificial intelligence analytics is required, and where digitization is actually required. And today, yeah, this reminds me, just a few days back, I have 2 electrical connection in my house in Bhubaneswar. So a person came and delivered 2 electricity bill, and immediately the message came in my mobile. And immediately after that, another message also came from CESU, Central Electricity Supply Unit, that please download the app, and you have the liberty of making or generating your own bill and everything and whatnot and whatnot. So when I checked it, to my surprise, so that means what it says, that you generate your own electricity bill by seeing the meter, and the electricity bill will come. So, but there is a danger. You might make the fraud, but you cannot do it. Why? Because they have your data of the last few months, and that is the system where analytics work. If during my last 5 years of my average electricity bill, precisely on seasonal requirement, summertime requirement is more, AC is operating. I'm sorry because I'm taking little more time, because I want to be very practical for the students, because they should understand, because we teach a lot of theory, but what is important that some of the practical aspect really, which really goes into their brain very well, and they understand the subject better. So, so that means I cannot cheat them, because they have the data available. Data analytics work. They have the data available for the last so many years. How much I have been using during summer, how much I have been using during winter, how much I have been doing. So they do data analytics. And the validation, what they do, if they have a doubt, the validation they do, they will send just simply one man and get it validated whether it is correct or not. Because the last reading, they just check it up with the present generation of bill. So, these are the things. And all this, the recent startup, you can see all the recent startup. It is mostly on the digitization and bringing in conveniency, both time and other thing, and because of the volume. Now, all this has become a very necessity today, considering India is a growing economy, and we have a large number of middle class people who are now, earlier they had a mentality of saving, but now they are thinking maybe after this COVID, what is the point keeping the money? Let us spend it. It was quite prominent when I saw during this Diwali, the market was overcrowded. I thought that why it is happening? Maybe that money which they have not spent because of this COVID, so they have accumulated a lot of money, they are buying it. And second thing is, we do not know whether we will be alive in another 10 years, another COVID might come. So let's spend and enjoy the life. Okay, so all these things has been very, very important for all the big, not only big, even the small industry houses and companies who are operating in India, and those who are coming. They are bringing all the multinational company who are coming to India. Of course, there is a exception. Take for example that Apple phone or the Tesla car. Here they change the product altogether, and that's why you have seen their product launching. It takes longer time than the normal product. Of course, these are guided by Maslow's theories of demand. So it is the fourth requirement. The people who are very affluent and all, they want really a very high value item, so that their dignity and other things are kept constant. So, but otherwise, it's a small company, medial company, and because the market is growing, so digitization is very much important for everybody. It is not only for the business houses, it is also very much important for the customer as well, because they want at the fingertip that everything should be done, and it is robust and dependent, and you can rely upon. Now, finally, before concluding, I would like to share some of the experiences. I'll give you another example. You go to the big mall, you have seen. I remember a few days back, I mean almost 10 years back, not 10 years, maybe 7-8 years back. There used to be a big queue in the big bazaar when you buy the item. Sometimes I used to return back that seeing the queue because I was having only 2-3 items. But today it is so fast. Why? Because the digitization of the payment system, they have done it. You know, they don't have to type the price tag, which is barcoded, immediately it captures and everything, and it quickly goes. This is one of the smallest level of digitization which has happened. Now, before I conclude, I happen to be the judge for a quality circle competition of many top industrial houses in Odisha and in Chhattisgarh, which comprises of in the steel sectors and aluminum sectors, and even in the mining sectors. And you know, when these are the teams who are in the form of quality circle, and quality circles are mostly you have the workers level people participating. They have a group and they have a facilitator who is basically a manager level person. So otherwise it is mostly being run by the non-executive level people. There I was surprised, you know, when the competition, it continued almost for 6 months, and I had to judge almost 50 teams, where all these big industrial houses from steel sectors and aluminum sectors and other sectors were also there. One bright example I'll tell you, one company that is, it is who supplies the silencers, and this was a case study. They produce the silencer for the big two-wheeler like Bajaj Auto and Hero Honda and many other things. You know, they transformed their silencer making. Again, it is a supply chain management. The earlier method was completely different, and the present method they introduced was it was a metallurgical operation. Of course, many people will not understand. It is called a deep drawing method. You know, for which they found the Indian supplier, their material was failing to that extent of 25% failure. So they had to depend on the South Korea supplier, POSCO. And the company who was supplying with a 25% of grade, they're making losses. They had a very good relation with each other, and they coordinated the data, information and everything, and very quickly. And within no time, within 6 months time, today the import is totally substituted by this domestic supplier. And this is the team which has done, they tell it the Six Sigma team, but it's a wonderful project. They brought in a lot of profitability to the company. And today those silencer manufacturers, they are taking it from this company 100%, no more buying from the POSCO. Now, another example I'll tell you about the steel sectors. You know, they had an analog method of tracking the vehicle and making all these invoices and everything, not only for their inbound logistic, but also for the outbound logistic. This quality circle, they just introduced RF card, radio frequency card. And you know what was the cycle time it was reduced? The cycle time, it was reduced by almost 2/3. So that means earlier, if it was 40 minutes, now it is 30 minutes. And what is the bottom line benefit? The bottom line benefit is all these inbound logistic, the number of vehicle, it got reduced by almost 60%. So don't you think this is a very big gain for the company by bringing down the cost, just by bringing in a very nominal digitization in their logistics system? Now, another example I just remember, it was a company who is into the power business also. So they'll import a lot of thermal coal for their power plant. is a very old company. They used to pay a lot of money for the damages of the wagon. And for power, you require around, for 1 unit of power, you require 0.75. And the prices was going up like anything. They bring in digitization in the movement of the loco rail from the point where Indian Railway has the last point and to their factory premises through digitization. And there has been a drastic fall. There is no demerits right now. There is no demerit. So I am very happy to share such information, because this thinking of, okay, they might not be knowing this, the team who was doing all these things, they might not be really knowing about this terminology of digitization in the supply chain management or these things. But the approach is almost in the same line. So what basically I want to convey with my last words, that this initiative has to start maybe from the institutional level, where exactly these information will be passed to, because many companies who are very primitive and maybe they don't have very high-end knowledge people to really implement, not like Mr. Amit Kumar Vyas, who did it in 2012. But this sort of information will go, and maybe the institute can help in collaborating with such company who really do not have such core strength, and bringing in the digitization so that it happens. And I'm very much thankful to giving me an opportunity to deliver my speech here, and give my viewpoint. And I think with this approach, the Indian organization, whether it is a small, big, or startup, they can rock in the market, because we have the volume, we have the people to buy. The only thing is that what is required, the passing on information, starting from the very starting point till the customer and reverse back. And I wish all the good success for your this symposium, and thank you all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such concise address to all of us. We are grateful to you, sir, for your gracious presence and illuminating words. I would now request the guest of honor, Shri Nilabja De, Head IT, Enterprise and Digital Transformation of Mahindra Logistics, to kindly deliver his deliberation. Please, sir, over to you.
Okay. Hi, good morning. Good morning, Visakha. I just want to have a presentations for my audiences for these digital logistics presentations. Just a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
What is happening in transformation?
In transformer business.
So I will stick to, I have 20 minutes. I will stick to that time. Don't worry. So first of all, I just want to share some practical examples and stories. What is happening? Because in my experiences, Indian digital India, leave alone the logistics, digital logistics, even on the supply chain logistics business, I always feel that the Indian story is completely a white space. Okay, hardly any significant improvement, digitizations or automations happens. Even from the process point of view, also our logistics, many of the well-known companies, the way they are managing logistics, there is a huge revenue leakage, and let me tell you very honestly, the processes are very inefficient. Okay, because many of these challenge happen because there is the for significant number of years there was huge under investments in this particular sector, and and good amount and lack of good people. Okay, the overall since the investment was not there, but now the things are changing. Okay, I can tell you, but and I will, time permit, I will share one small case study also. But otherwise, so what is happening? So overall, if you see that overall the transformation business, I just share some examples like what is happening in overall the couple of things. One is we are moving towards platforms. One, we are moving towards mobility. One is personalizations. What this doing means people, every individual is looking for some connected story. Even as I am told, what Amazon is doing. Amazon is building for key focus is building, whether it's India in USA, the kind of supply chain. It's everything you see, that everything, every minute detail you can see in the Amazon. It is because the entire backend supply chain logistics have been very scalable and robust, and they are building a basically personal story. It is not only supply chain logistics, huge amount of big data crunching is happening back end, so they can analyze that what is you last bought, what is you are missing, and what additional. So those kind of personalization story is getting built. And also the co-creation model, like not everything, the thing is that not everything you need to build of your own. Okay, if you should outsource the stuff you don't have the expertise. That's why if you see many of the Indian companies also now also focusing in USA, obviously it's long, like the outsourcing part or co-manufacturing or co-creation model is really becoming the story. Now I just want to share you the digital transformation part. Say obviously, see the process, digital whatever you talk about, IoT, mobility, analytics, or big data, anything, these are basically digital enablers. Okay, they cannot work of their own. They have to, first of all, your process, you have to understand in any aspect, five things are very: process, organizations, knowledge management of the organizations, technology, and monitoring of the performance. Okay, so five pillars. So foundation is process. If your process is not working well, or if your process is crude, your it does not matter how many $1 million or how many hundreds of crores you spend on your logistics part. Okay, first is the process. And these process digital enablers I will share you in subsequent slides. They actually help you to the changing, the altering the traditional value chain of the products or the business models or business process. Because of the paucity of time, I cannot go to everything, but you understand and try to relate each of the stories I'm pointing, because digital fundamental way the manufacturing works still remains the same, but or the logistics was still, but the focus has completely moved to the customer experience. The business model is changing. Earlier the whole thing was licensing model, now the subscription based model. Okay, you do not need to buy everything at the front, you now becoming more or less subscription. So platform economy, business model, and everything because of the digital enabler which are working on the front. Now this is a particular key slide. So what multiple stages of the digital enablers are there, sorry, digital transformations are there. I usually call them the journey from explorer to transformer. Okay, so I am not sharing this particular go into details. What I'm telling that in our currently in act, not only in Indian companies, lot of companies in USA and Europe or worldwide, they are in multiple stages of digital transformations. Okay, not, don't expect that even USA means everybody is in execution stage or very advanced. They are just learning. Okay, Indian company, most majority of the Indian companies are on explore and decide stage. Okay, even good established companies, FMCG, where the maximum spending on happen on the IT sector, they are also still learning how to. Some of them, very few of them, you can read some case studies of Asian Paints who really doing really well. They have started with the visionary leadership, they are moving. But traditional manufacturing sector, I can tell you, they are nowhere right now, but they are gradually changing. So this is the explore, decide, develop, and execute. Explore means they are just exploring that how much, what is the value if I spend X number of money, X number of crores, because how much value addition will happen, what changes I will bring in. Then coming the decide stage, that how to make the building. See, you after you are going for digital transformation does not mean that you have know everything. Digital transformation part say has multiple facets. Okay, there are multiple components of a digital transformations. App is just a front, app is just the front. I can tell you, app is nothing, it is just a visual stuff. App is the last thing, the back end is the very critical. You see, even if you just order by something, say something by Big Basket or something, if the product does not get delivered, the whole digital the supply chain, the whole supply chain, you understand, is not still scalable or broken. Okay, so the app is just an app. People, many of the people just think that app, I built an app, the story is done. It is just that this is the end product. Finally, the development, obviously you have to develop the whole story, both front end and the back end logistics, and finally execute. So this is the, I'm telling, this is the entire story. I can talk on half an hour, the entire one sliding, but I don't have that kind of time. I just want to share you another stuff. You have to think couple of slides I built because you need to think over it. I think I am telling most of the students who are there that you have to think what is happening. It is more or less, unless you get the abstract stuff behind it, you will not understand the digital supply chains. Because I'm again telling, traditional supply chain is going to stay. It is not, nobody can replace the traditional supply chain. Digital enablers, these IoT, mobility, analytics, or RPA, these are just digital enablers that will help you to bringing more operating efficiencies in the supply chain. So there are basically six pillars of the digital capabilities an organization need to build. We call it sense, thinks and connect, visualize, communicate, and act. If you see what is happening actually, sense, first of all, IoT. I will tell one more thing. IoT is a foundation of any digital supply chain. Unless, see, first you have to understand, if you and I will tell you to put some because see what I can tell you from the, since a lot of second year students are there, as my professor was telling, I can tell you industry is looking, you have to see, very few things are available in the books. It is not there, and there is a huge gap what is there in the books and what is happening in the industry, because industry, people who are in the industry, they do not go through you have to go through a lot of case studies in the YouTube and see what is happening. Since first of all you have to understand that you have to capture the data. There is no way you can work on anything unless you have the data, whether it is big analytics or big data or even structured data also, okay, or RPA. Fast and IoT is the only thing where you can capture the data. You have to sense it. Second come think. Okay, sync is the last thing. First you capture the data. That's why I said IoT is the base of the any digital story, and analytics and mobility, they are the key foundation. So analytics, you are building the data. We are started messaging the data. Then connect. Obviously, connect comes first is sales, then connect, and then think. Then visualize that mobility part. You have to see augmented reality, 3D printing, although in India not has come, but it is coming. Manufacturing, the whole manufacturing supply chain is going to be completely disrupted with kind of visual reality and augmented reality, because traditional way how the spare parts were fixed or manufactured or replaced is going to change. Next is obviously social media, crowdsourcing, collaborations. You have to see, you don't consider social media from the in the manufacturing or traditional only for Facebook. That is just a media. Again, Facebook is just an enabler. Facebook is just another tool. Many of the companies are building a strong ecosystem. So you have to communicate to your stakeholders, like dealers, your store, your stockist, your suppliers. So that feasibility is okay. And finally robotics means, see, robotics obviously is coming very popular in India. A lot of manufacturing, lot of applications of robotics currently happening in the warehouse. Because of the multiple labor issues, you cannot just bring robotics in the manufacturing plants, but you can bring definitely or warehouse automations. Robotics is greatly coming out. I know RPA obviously you are, but I will tell you, in case you are preparing for your future career, this is the area the whole of industry is currently working on, and you have to be prepared for this kind of, because you have to prepare for interviews or thing you have to prepare for. Now coming to another things, I just want to share this one. See, asset monitoring industry. See, industrial automation was IoT industry. People say now that one thing very popular came is called IoT. Okay, but in Internet of Things. But I can tell you, Internet of Things is a very old concept. 80s Internet of industrial IoT is a concept as very popular and still in 80s or 90s and still becoming most of the manufacturing industries, even steel companies are greatly using. I worked in steel, so very early in my career. So industrial automation, but the way there is a significant way the data is being used. The huge amount of money is flowing into the concept of the predicative and the prescriptive analytics. These two are different. So you have to, I don't have time right now, but you have to read it properly. Okay. Three stages of analytics. One is descriptive, which is very traditional. Next coming the predictive, and next third is the final is the prescriptive. Fleet management is another area where huge amount of applications, and that is the easiest area. Okay, that is in supply chain is easy. Fleet tracking and monitoring. It is a decade. It is not a very old concept, new concept, but it is more and more advanced analytics are being used. And here also the IoT mobility analytics. These three has to work. Okay. Next, smart energy. Obviously, it is becoming smart grids and other things. In India, smart energy is becoming smart. Government has, if you see that, and the government has started, it has not made any decent progress. Decent progress because of huge regulatory and issues and multiple other political issues. But smart energy is an area where a lot of private power companies have started working on. And connected car. Connected car is an area I am very bullish because a lot of companies in India, including Tata Motors and other things, EV has to be on connected. Okay, there is no second doubt on that. So and I'm really, so lot of areas if on multiple stages of transformation is happening. So and this particular area, this is a first, obviously you have to understand in any company, first you have to connect the assets. Okay, you cannot do any supply chain or specifically digital supply chain. These are a couple of stages. First is the connect. You have to connect the asset. If you do not connect with a device, you cannot get the data. First, you have to understand that any fundamental stuff, you have to first connect the assets. Then you have to take, once you connect the data and get the data, then you are starting the messaging the data. You see the what is happening, why it is happening, why my particular grid is failing. Those things earlier, these things, what used to happen earlier, we used to generate the reports, and the reports wise we used to study. And then the enterprise integration. See, one thing happening, you have to understand that many of the companies, so once you get the data and generate, say, assume that you have started, you use one, say, just giving an example, say one vital shipment has started from, so say, Delhi to Chennai. Okay. So Delhi to Chennai, say in Bangalore, somewhere near to Bangalore, the car has broke down. But it's such a important thing. See, you are finding this particular car is breaking somewhere regularly. So my point is that once the breakdown or some mishap happens, you have to first connect the data. But the predicative analytics, what does, since say there that particular, and I'm taking a very simplified manner, that truck may have a, say, 2 hours breakdown, but 2 hours breakdown for any manufacturing companies is, for the 2 hours delay for companies, for specifically automobile companies, to work on a just-in-time mode is very critical. So what is the revised timeline? What is, because of the 2 hour delay, at what time is finally going to reach? That is kind of predicative analytics, and most of the stuffs currently are automated. You don't have the time, and say you have around on any point of time 5 to 10,000 trucks are running all over the multiple geos of India. It's very difficult to manually do it. Now that's why the entire digital transformation analytics is becoming so critical from the industry point of view. But and see, that's why the since you are from MBA student, these are the stuffs you should try to develop.
Excuse me, sir. I think it is muted. Your mic was muted just from last 2 seconds.
Now it is fine, no? Now it is fine.
It's
Okay.
fine, sir. Please continue.
Okay, so what I'm telling that, see, you have to understand that specifically I'm telling from the students want to, you have to build the entire story. When the corporate people starts, you have to understand the challenge is not in technology. Okay, technology anybody can develop. Technology right now, if you have money, even you do not need to build. You can just buy the products. Challenge in India is basically on the executions, because I cannot tell that story right now because I was part of one of the logistics companies. I managed to roll out a last mile mobility platforms in 75 cities in India, currently being used almost 8 to 10,000 delivery boy. But that is the challenge in execution. But you have to understand, for digital transformation story to pan out fast, you have to define a vision. Okay, what I am here, what we are now here, what is your current as is understanding state, and what you try to achieve. Okay, that's a very point of view, because you have to ultimately, many of the, specifically from the listed companies point of view, they are spending public money. Okay, then obviously you have to build an ecosystem. You see, digital transformation, whatever story you build, you cannot execute of your own. You need a very strong ecosystems to build. And finally, obviously, process and the governance of the stuff is very critical. Of the how, see, governance, organizational change management, you under to understand that it is app is just downloading and using is just the part of many of the in India, many of the organizations, many of the stakeholders are do not have the smartphones. Okay, and because smart, they cannot afford, many of the people, so like vendors or the, but my point, what I'm trying to, the governance and organizational change management and change and stakeholder management is a huge story. You cannot imagine the kind of challenges there. So what I'm telling, that traditional processes are there. On top of that, you are bringing a digital ecosystems, and you have to obviously think about that, what kind of business you have to develop, the business case, and what kind of investments I will get, what are the values, and obviously in this process you build the use cases, your business model. See, many of the organizations, you cannot just jump into any kind of, you see, tradition, moving from traditional to subscription or app based economy is not easy. You have to, many of the organizations, that's why, are still going for a hybrid model. And obviously the end results, you understand that you are building the challenge. The thing is, you are bringing improvement in the customer experiences, and a building a new multiple revenue generating models are coming on. And finally, definitely many of the digital supply chain story are focusing huge improvement in the operational efficiencies and cost optimizations. So that is the aim, that goal to everybody wants to achieve. Who does not wants to reduce his margin, operating margin, or cost of operations, and improve the, but the back end, the whole story is very complicated and complex. And and unless the story is scalable, many of the organizations have failed, just failed. Even the organization maybe have very good brand name, but you can make the difference. you know you just organize, you just compare the story. ঠিক আছে, from any of the organization, like you compared, you organ from any Amazon versus any of, because Amazon is considered, I do not, I think they have built a scalability in terms of the entire supply chain to a different level. Okay, most of this, or most of the people who are even on B2B, B2C, they are nowhere near the Amazon, because we in the logistics space know how what kind of process and governance Amazon has built into the entire build the platform. What you are getting in the platform is just the front end, but the back end is so complicated, vast, and so many. Moreover, there are multiple stakeholders are working. This governance story in a digital supply chain management is the most critical thing, and this underlying process. Okay, that's all from my side. I think I just be on time. Thanks, Sunil, for this opportunities. I hope I could add some values to your students.
Thank you. Thank you. So over to you.
We are grateful to you, sir, for such an illuminating words. I would now request the guest of honor, Shri M. Nageshwara Rao, Head of Logistics, Lakshmi Cargo Company, to address the gathering. Please, sir, over to you.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. I would like to welcome all of you for the session. I would say necessity is the mother of invention, and sharing knowledge is power. As we are currently on the same platform, the recent COVID pandemic taught us many lessons to be more agile, flexible, and lean. I can say current generation is born with the digital spoon. So these people are so lucky. So you can utilize the digitization. So you are all learning. So I want to brief about my company. Basically, I am from Lakshmi Cargo Company, which is a unit of Chakradhara Aerospace and Cargo Private Limited, which is promoted by LMW Group. LMW is basically Lakshmi Machine Works, which is into manufacturing of textile machinery manufacturing and other foundry castings also. Actually, this is a one-stop supply chain solution for entire supply chain needs as well as CHA and freight forwarding also. We too have a educational institutes in the name of GKD Institute of Technological Resources and a DJ Academy. Both institutes are inducted for the skilled workforce into manufacturing companies, as well as we are establishing current generation to give social responsible business managers to the industry. Now I just want to give a brief about future marketing, digital logistics, how our company, being a manufacturing as well as supply chain solution company, what kind of digital technologies we are utilizing in our own company, instead of taking many examples has taken by our dignitaries. That is exactly what is the fact, and what I want to explain that how we are using the digitization in our own industries, manufacturing as well as supply chain. Actually, we have an integrated solution package which is managing our entire asset management, warehousing management, data management, analytics, security, network, our transportation model, warehousing model, inventory management, and financial management, everything. Whole package is taking care of entire solutions in one go. And from the industry of manufacturing, the digitization, how they are doing right now, we have some automation processes in production units, as well as we are using also robots, also using for the production. Pertaining to, as you are all from the management institute, I just want to give you focus on digital marketing, how it is emphasizing the total market. So I can say my digital media is pushing our products as well as our services to the social media in a different manner, because now technology is available. By sitting in any corner of India, we can tap. By sitting here, I can reach either Bhubaneswar or particularly Balasore or particularly Barbil. Entire city I can tap. I can reach all the customers. So there is a facility we can show, or we can push our products or services to our particular customers. Because suppose I being a manufacturing industry or being a supply chain industry, I know that there is a probability of business in particularly Orissa, for example, Balasore. So my social media, digital media is taking care of tapping the particular Balasore city customers only. There is a provision. And also backend, we are able to see whether those customers are able to utilize the services what I am pushing through social media. So there is an analytics procedure we have that we are analyzing whether Balasore customers are really able to utilize the services what we are pushing through social media. There is a analytics. Based on that, we used to, if it is successful, then fine. Otherwise, we'll drop that plan and we'll have another plan, because we have many social media platforms like Meta, LinkedIn, like Twitter, like many social media platforms are YouTube, like many social media platforms are there. So we are focusing one by one, which is mostly reachable to the particular cities. Metro cities can be accessible for all, but B grade cities are limited to certain technologies only. Like that, we are analyzing and pushing our products as services through social media, which is helping us a lot to search right customers and right vendors. Apart of this, I just want to, we are utilizing QR codes for our on documentation as well as business cards, so that with the QR code, my particular vendors as well as customers can reach our domain easily to see our products as well as services. As well as we are also having a real-time tracking of our orders, customer orders, as well as our transportation orders, and we are having e-invoice, e-way bills, and we are also using barcode scanners at our warehouses, 3PL supply chain, and we are also planning for RFID. So these barcode scanners are helping us to trace any particular item where exactly it is there. Either in a warehouse model or in a racking model, we can easily identify the location of the particular part. And to track the vehicles, we have two kind of systems. One is GPS, which is everybody knows. And as Mr. Nilabje said rightly, everybody don't have the digital, smartphones with these things. When we are hiring market vehicles, maybe drivers don't have smartphones that time. So we are using a technology called SIM-based tracking. With the SIM-based tracking is a cheap and best model. With that SIM-based tracking, we are able to track our vehicles without installation of any kind of GPS into their vehicles. This is a kind of one-time this thing for one trip only. Once trip is delivered, then that will be automatically end up. So that kind of easy methods are available in the market. So we are utilizing that kind of facilities to track our trucks, as well as if everything is failed, then we have a FASTag system also. Through FASTag also we can track our trucks which toll has crossed the truck. So that kind of facilities we are utilizing in our industry to track our vehicles, as well as for payments models. Now we are also having all kind of Google Pay, Paytm.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you're talking about the second one. So one is GPS, and the second one, can you just give me an abbreviation on that, sir? Third one is FASTag, and what is the second one?
SIM-based tracking, sir.
Oh, SIM-based. So it is with the truck driver's SIM.
Yes, SIM. SIM-based tracking. Okay. So we are tracking completely all the mobiles of the drivers, and the service provider is giving, even driver is having smartphone or irrespective of normal phone also. That service providers are giving beautiful service to track the SIMs. That is a very cheap and best model that we are utilizing in our industry, sir.
Yes,
it's a good one. Yeah, and as well as petro cards for fueling. E-invoices now, this because of this pandemic, we are unable to submit the hard copies of invoices to the customers. So we are invoices with EPOD we are submitting. As a part to go green, we are also planning for electric vehicles as well as driverless vehicles also within the factory premises. Now I can say Ola and Uber is the best examples. Other examples already our dignitaries has explained us. So in the digital logistics, we are getting beautiful services by these new entrants like Amazon, Ola, Uber, many others. So thanks to the ASBM University dignitaries and crew members for giving me this opportunity. My best wishes to all speakers. For any queries, you can reach me. I'll drop my mail ID to set. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity. All the best. Thank you.
Many thanks to Sir to enlighten with such stimulating words. I would now request the chief guest, Shri V.S. Manimaran, Chairman and Managing Director of Viscan Aviation Private Limited, to address the gathering. Please, sir, over to you.
Sir, you are on mute, sir.
Sir, kindly unmute.
Please unmute yourself.
Check from the admin side.
From admin, it is correct, sir. We have the access. Abhijit, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, every right has been given, but I think sir having some problem.
Okay. Let me.
Yes.
Am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, this is very small one. In fact, Mr. Ansuman, Mr. Nilabia, and Mr. Nageshwara presentation, in fact, highlighted the need of the industry and what is government now is
how this technology is going to help this middle sector, mid segment and other things. Let me start with this, and let us start with this some challenges the industry faces now. Now, earlier everything was done manually on a piece of paper. It was handwritten on a grid form, and the communication even with the drivers and riders that we had was all done manually. They would send an SMS and there was no confirmation whether that actually received it. The information was like a free form. There was no historical capture of data. So the process itself was very unscalable. There was a little latitude to basically change the process to reorganize the schedule. What is the digitalization means? With the digitalization approach, every single job now goes into the system. We are able to see in real time the status of the system. The drivers all get a hand phone with this enabled with the app. As soon as they have done the job at the customer location, we are able to get the POD or proof of delivery, whether it is a signature or a name of a customer, or if there are any issues with the delivery. The data is much more real time, which gives us more scalability, because when a person doing the manual process, if it's really efficient, he can do 100 jobs. Whereas with the technology, when you go, you can do 300 to 400 jobs in a couple of hours. So the technology completely changes the scale of operation. So it is enabling us to continue our growth plans without having an entire army of people basically manually planning and assignments. The digital logistics, as it relates to the supply chain, takes traditional data collection, which is often manual and prone to human error or delay. And digitization, it improves the expedite the logistics process, strategies and systems. In other words, it automizes routine-like parts of logistics chain that are practical to be automized. Not only does this digital approach create opportunities for any organization to reduce the cost and operating expenses, lost productivity and accurate order fulfillment, but it also increases the data transparency for all vendors and partners involved in each step of the study supply chain management operations. The global digital logistics market size is projected to reach around $22 million by 2026, from $10,230 million in 2019 at a CAGR 11.5% during 2021 and 2026. The demand for cost-effective logistics and supply chain solutions across several industrial verticals is driving the growth of the digital logistics market. The deployment of digital technology has increased the logistics performance and quality, as well as relationship with the numerous supply chain partners. It provides possibilities to influence changes in operations as well as the customer interaction. Digital logistics market analysis, North America is predicting to have the largest digital logistics market share. The presence of significant IT corporations in the United States and Canada, as well as the rapid technical breakthroughs, is driving market expansion in this field. Because of the developed economies, these countries are able to invest extensively in cutting-edge digital logistics system and services. The current status and prediction over the last few decades, supply chain has started to increase globally. So the demand for e-commerce has led to increase in freight and customer expectation. To meet these challenges, logistics industry brings in modern technologies such as IoT and cloud pay, which optimize the logistics process in terms of efficiency, load capacity, and planning. Adopting new and innovative technology solutions has become imperative for logistics industry. Given that labor is scarce, competition is intense, and customers have become more demanding, technology advancements can increase productivity by minimizing time, cost, and errors. Automation systems, data-driven software solutions such as advanced package labeling, warehouse sorting, etc., have become the need of the hour. Shipment tracking system enable companies to monitor their shipments round the clock, get alerts and notification, and set up customized reporting. Data analytics can help with improving customer experience, operational efficiency, and safety. Robotics and autonomous machinery have been adopted by the many key players in the logistics industry. This helps us in drastically cutting down time taken for order completion and delivery. IoT can play a key role in reducing risks and ensuring safe delivery of goods. The best fleet management system connects with the specialized sensors built into the new generation trucks. This software provides real-time in transit visibility of trucks, shipments on board, any key vehicle parameters. Thanks to cloud computing, many of the above software solutions are relatively inexpensive. Where the digital acceleration rail transport is autonomous trains, signaling and traffic management, digital train control, digital platform for predictive maintenance and repair, and e-booking. In case of maritime transport, online booking and cargo management, tracking of shipments, route optimization, autonomous vessels. Digitalization in urban transport means digital technologies provides possibility to address the chronic urban transport problems, example, traffic jam, lack of choice of consumers, inefficient or underutilization of vehicles and space pollution extra. Data collection and data analytics help to identify causes of problems and to find the solutions. The common features of digital trends is high level of automation, better and broader connectivity, main digital technologies and solutions, IoT, cloud computing, big data analysis, automation and robotics, artificial intelligence. Digital platforms become a new business model which enable innovative transport services or more efficient supply of services and increases tradability of services. Data-driven approach become dominant for both businesses and regulators. The digital synergies between the transport or logistics services and other service sectors relies on the support of other services, but also boost the latest advances such as telecom, CRS, construction and engineering, energy, environment, and other business services. Present trends and predictions in supply chain logistics, the aftermath of pandemic with its technological and economic adjustments and the shift to the new normal will drive operational process, in-plant and e-commerce logistics and supply chains into more agile throughout 2021. Post-pandemic, the challenges for the post-pandemic logistics industry will be to ensure high performance of lean supply deliveries without compromising its flexibility. Solutions of predictive analytics offer a way of how to achieve more responsive supply chain. Data logistics and demand-driven logistics, in order to shift towards adaptive operating models, mitigate risk in deliveries, supply chain should be the transformation to the demand-driven logistics. When it comes to omni-channel logistics, omni-channel logistics refers to synchronized inventory, logistics, and distribution across sales channels to meet customer demand. Instead of shipping the product from the distributor center, it is packed and shipped from the nearby store. The inventory is updated across all channels and the customer receives the order quickly. As a new standard, e-commerce business and online retailers become the winners of 2020, with the omni-channel strategy become the new standard. Logistic processes, supply chain management, and overall process of order fulfillment must appropriately adopt omni-channel principles. The lean warehousing management has a trend of omni-channel logistics develops and services aimed at fulfilling individual customer preferences expand. The concept of lean warehouse is becoming a key feature in inventory and warehouse management. Hybridization of logistics strategies. The scaling of IoT in logistics operation in the upstream and downstream contributes to the improving agility and performance. The further improvements will be driven by a variety of dynamic logistics strategies and customized operating methods. Dynamic synchronization of supply chain and manufacturing means more companies are looking for transition to demand-driven supply chain model with a holistic approach to digital transformation. And the intelligence automation of logistics, this requires a closer integration between logistics, manufacturing, and the dynamic collaboration. From supply chain to supply network, this is the new technology, the digitalization and globalization and the increase in the regularization will accelerate the transformation of supply chains into supply network through decentralized management methods. How can this digital logistics benefit our business? Here, actually, I would like to mention points that there is a huge demand for the conversion. There is a huge demand for the, digitalization. How this digitalization, maybe the major the logistics companies are using it and they are having the benefits out of that. How these technology is going to support the middle segment logistics service providers and how affordable they are able to, use these technologies. I would request the ASBM student community to come forward to see that this technology to be made to suit this requirement of the middle and the lower sector of the logistics industries. Why? Because the major sectors already they are, they are using all the technologies to for this operation purpose. Whereas in case of middle sector and smaller sector, the stiff competition and the cost cutting, and in case if they want to survive in the industry means they have to go for digitalization. At the same time, are they afford to go for this digitalization? That is what the students community should support this logistics sector of middle and smaller sector to see that so that they can compete well in the market, and I mean, errors or losses or cost cutting, everything should happen, so that they will survive in the market, and they also will be able to compete with the major sectors. Like here, there are some range of potential benefits, including factories being able to optimize inventory management through transparency in supply chain, logistics service providers having earlier warning of unforeseen problems, and a wider range of opportunities to reschedule transport operations, customers receiving more options, more transparency in supply chain, and more opportunity to inform both manufacturer and delivery systems of their needs and preferences. Local and national authorities gaining insight into planned infrastructure use from port docking through to multi-drop in fulfillment, giving them better management of networks such as roads, rail, ports, and allowing them to inform infrastructure users of planned and unforeseen disruption of services. To conclude, let me state again, digitization only will continue to evolve and drive consumer expectations, making switch from traditional logistics to digital logistics. The customers and stakeholders demand more information. Make sure ASBM students, you are positioned to exceed their expectations thanks to a nimble and modern approach to logistics. I thank ASBM team for this opportunity and wish good luck to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are grateful to you, sir, for such illuminating words. Now, the inaugural ceremony has come to an end. I would request Dr. Sunil Kumar Dasbendi, Governor of the Symposium, to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you all.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Vishaka. I, Dr. Sunil Kumar Dasbendi, the convener and assistant professor of the Symposium, 11th National Logistic and Supply Chain Management Symposium. The main objective of this symposium is to is a platform where we can understand the industry problems, industry trends, so that being a young university, you would like to keep that in curriculum and develop our students when they go for campus or the industry. They should know the insights and the trends. So we have got lots of trends and insights, what skills are need of the hour. Some of them are like we need to focus on lower and small scale industries as cited by our chief guest, V.S. Manivaran. And not only that, it is a need of our each and every organizations need to come up with it if they want to survive. So we have also experienced some technical aspects from other eminent speakers and from our Sri Ansuman Bhanja sir and Sri Nilabja De and Sri M. Nageswar Rao sir. So it is time to bid vote of thanks to all these eminent speakers and the stakeholders. So first of all, I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to our chief guest of this inaugural session, Sri V.S. Manivaran, Chairman and Managing Director, Vishikan Aviation Private Limited, for providing such insightful insights. Sure, sir, as you have recommended that ASBM University needs to come up some kind of strategies to focus on these lower and small scale industries. We'll work on it, and we'll do some kind of project or research work related to it, so that it will give benefit to our students. And I also extend to my my regards to our guest of honor, Sri Ansuman Kumar Bhanja, former Director of Operations, Paleswar Oil Limited, for his deliberation and sharing insights. So he has wonderfully given so many examples, the trends, the insights of the industry, and he has given of examples of how the Amazon has become such a with some kind of logistics, this Ola, Uber, and certainly we'll put this in our research work and we'll work on it. I extend my heartiest thanks to our eminent speaker, Sri Nilabja De, SCM Platform Head IT, Mahindra Logistics, and Sri M. Nageswar Rao, Head of Logistics, Lakshmi Cargo Company, for giving technical aspects of that with suitable examples, as Sri Nageswara is citing about the SIM, GSP, and the audience is also so deliberately asking queries regarding that. So really it is a wisdom or the new learning process, because we do not know the abbreviations that is working on our. So still it is a need of our and we will work on it. I also convey my regards to our Dr. Vishwajit Patnaik, founder and president of ASBM University, for guiding us and giving opportunity to conduct such endeavors. I also convey my regards to Dr. Kalyan Shankar Ray, Vice Chancellor of SBM University, and Dr. Falguni Niranjana, Pro Vice Chancellor of SBM University, for their constant guidance and encouragement. Lastly, I convey my gratitude to our Registrar, Dean School of Business, Dean School of Accountancy, Controller of Examination, webinar team, faculty members, members of press, members of staffs, co-convener Professor Pati, Dr. Kaushik, Dr. Professor Avijit, placement team, students volunteer in organizing, cooperating, and making this symposium in grand success. Lastly, I also thanks to Vishaka for hosting this event and making it a grand success. Thank you. So officially, this the first inaugural session of this symposium is over to end. I request all the participants to join in the next session, plenary session or panel discussion session at 3 p.m. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Is there any feedback form for this session, sir?
Yes, ma'am. You will get a mail about the feedback.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you.